Hey everyone, it's Sunflower Spirit here, and I'm here to do another collective reading. This reading is going to be on this full moon. It's actually a full lunar eclipse in Virgo happening on March 3rd, 2026. So let's take a look at what the energies are. I don't know about you, I've already had a doozy of a couple days, a doozy of a March. So let's see where we're headed with this. We're also in Mercury retrograde, which is interesting because Virgo is actually ruled by Mercury. So there's a lot happening with communication and technology, travel potentially. So let's see what is coming in for the collective, for everybody. All right. All right, we have the Knight of Wands to start out with. That's interesting. I'm going to lay these out and then I will talk to you about them. What else for the collective, please? We have the Six of Cups. Interesting. What else for everybody? Oops, we have the Three of Wands. Virgo full moon, lunar eclipse. What is happening? We have the Knight of Pentacles. And then we have the King of Wands. Oops, let me see. How can I? Oh, cat. Excuse. Oh my gosh, cat. Seriously? Okay. So where were we? Sorry about that. Um, let me see if I can get these back where I had them. So we had the shoot. Sorry about that, y'all. Just annoying. Okay. So we had, no, we didn't have the Page of Wands. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna go with these because I don't know. Um, I don't know. That was not the message. So this is the message, I guess. Um, very annoying. But okay. So what else do we have? It'll come out either way. It doesn't really matter. It'll come out either way. So we're having disruptions in our lives right now. Oh, here we go. Here, I got it. That one just fell on the ground. That's how we were. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna have major disruption. Might feel like your life is being majorly disrupted. You might feel like you're gonna have huge huge breakthrough, huge tower moment. Same thing. Four of Swords. Okay, and then we have the Hanged Man, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Lovers. And then on the back, we have the Three of Swords. Okay, so let's see if I can read this for you guys. Okay, so there's been like a period of stagnation, specifically with a choice regarding it looks like a love choice or a choice regarding the heart. If it's not love, it's just something that your heart has been pulling you to. It's something where your heart and mind can't get on the same page, and so you've been trying to wrestle with that. And so that's causing a blockage because you are in this hanged man energy. You are what I'm really seeing is sort of this like hanged man energy where you've been just suspended kind of in time, like you've been in this really uncomfortable space. Carl Jung calls it the tension between the opposites. And the reason you have is because your heart and mind are conflicting. There's something major going on with your heart and mind. Um, so what is this? Let's look into that. Okay, so what is happening with your heart and mind is that you have been on some kind of journey. This is kind of a passionate soul mission, if you will. It's a journey of self. So it's a journey of like going within and figuring out where your power is, what your power is, and how you kind of harness and you radiate that power out. And this isn't like, I'm not talking about power as a control, I'm talking about power as in like personal empowerment. Where is your personal empowerment? You've been on this journey, you've been on a mission. I feel like maybe, we saw the shakeup here with my cat helping us out with that shakeup. And so what we're seeing is maybe you've been going through that, maybe you just went through that, maybe that happened directly before, this story that I just laid out here happened. And really what the shakeup is about is it's the path that you've been on. You need to correct that timeline. So it's not that you've been on the wrong path, but it's just that this path is no longer serving your empowerment purpose, the purpose of you fulfilling your obligations to yourself to be the most empowered human you can be. Um, so we're also seeing with this that there is an element of needing to rest and needing to think about kind of the things in the past. I feel like there are things in the past that have shown you just how resilient you are, just how malleable you are. And it's trying to guide you now. So your past self is calling to your present self and saying, hey, like, I need you to really focus on this. I need you to meditate on this. I need you to rest, do your resting, because the thing that you're dreaming of is coming into fruition, but you're going to have to balance your passion, desire, drive, motivation out with taking some downtime and taking some resting time. And all of this is possible, but the transformation is stagnant. It can't happen without you going to this place. So when you go to this place, what happens? Well, I told you, you're already in this kind of like suspended energy where you're in this liminal space, the space in between. And so what they're saying, and the reason why you need to rest and why you're in the space in between is because you've done all the work. You've put all the effort in. And so now it's your time to just sit back and relax and let the universe, let the people, let whoever in your life do the rest of it. And it is, you have really put in a lot of work. So now you are waiting for the results to come in, basically. You're saying, hey, I put in the effort. I want to see what I'm going to get from this. And you are going to see that. But I feel like you need to take a different perspective, which is why you need to rest, because you've been in this go, go, go energy of this Knight of Wands energy. He's a pretty fast, passionate, motivated, inspired person. And that's where your energy has been, but you need to rest now because you've already done that. You've already put in that work. And so they're asking you for a different perspective. However, you're looking at this, you need to look at it in a different way because remember how I said the timelines are not quite right? You need to jump to a different timeline. So you need to change the projection essentially of where it is that you're wanting to go, where it is that you're wanting to land. And so I feel this sort of like push-pull energy where you are like, but I had all this motivation, I had this momentum, and you did, and the momentum was there for a reason, and it was there for a time, and now it's time to rest. And so now it's time to wait patiently which is hard when you've been in the Knight of Wands energy, because who wants to be patient when you have all this momentum? You were just getting up speed, it was just getting good, and now the universe is like pulling it back, like, you know what? I mean, I know it was good and everything, but now our time is to rest. Now our time is to wait. And so you're struggling with this because you're trying to balance yourself out between these two energies of having this passionate momentum, getting up speed, feeling like the most determined you ever felt in life. And now they're telling you to wait. What is that? That's some nonsense right there. But sometimes that's how it is. And I think it's because you do need to rest. And I think it's because you're also human and you can only do so much in that energetic space. You're still going to use up all your resources, exhaust all your resources as a human. And so that's what we're seeing here. So, you know, the last part of this is that, well, you have this decision between your head and your heart. It's pulling you to go with your heart, and your head is feeling heart. Your head is trying to convince you, no, that's where heartbreak happens, that's where pain happens, because your head is overanalyzing, overthinking, analysis paralysis. You are trying to cognition something, you're trying to think something that cannot be the decision cannot be made with your cognitive process. It cannot be made with your thoughts. It needs to be made with your heart. It needs to be made with your emotions. It needs to be made with your with the scary stuff, the messy stuff, the vulnerable stuff. It's easy. Thoughts are easy, right? Because thoughts are tangible. Thoughts potentially you could like say them and put them out there and you could write them down and people could see them. But emotions, that's the scary stuff. That's the vulnerability. So it's going to take a little bit of courage. You're going to have courage. We see that because we have both the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. The King of Wands thrives on courage. He's the most courageous person of all. He knows how to manage his energy, including his emotions. He knows how to manage his energy, including his thoughts. And because he knows how to do this, that sets him apart from everybody else in the kingdom, right? Because nobody else has that quite that capability. He's mastered the art of the energetic harnessing. And so this is what they're asking you to do. You have to get into that courageous state. You need to change your thoughts because your thoughts are saying, "Oh, I had this momentum. I'm going to go go go." And they're saying, "No, you gotta now's the time to wait. It's not that things aren't coming in for you. It's not that there's the process isn't happening. It's that if you keep continuing, you're gonna stay on the same timeline, and that's not gonna work out well because it's going to cause a disruption like we saw previously. And that is going to set you off course and make things harder for you. So now what you need to do is focus in on following your heart. That's a pretty clear message, but I could go ahead and clarify these because why not? Why not clarify these? Um, because we do have like a pretty good picture, but we could always get more information, right? We could always be a little nosy and see what else is going on. So show me why this Knight of Wands is here, please. Two of Swords. Yeah, that's that stalemate where you feel like you're in a stalemate. You have a decision. What is causing the stalemate? It's this Three of Swords energy because you know you need to make a decision with your heart and your head saying, no, if you do that, it's going to end badly. But no, universe is saying, no, that's just your thoughts trying to tell you. We are very good at, lying to ourselves and deceiving ourselves. That's, we're good at like mentally creating these jungle gyms mentally of like, talking ourselves in or out of something. And right now they're saying that's not going to help. The thoughts are going to create the pain. The emotions aren't going to create the pain. The thoughts are going to create the stagnation, the stalemate. The emotions are not, but you have to kind of be still to hear it. What is this Six of Cups energy for everyone? Six of Cups. Yeah, we have the Three of Wands again. So it's telling me like with the Six of Cups, there's something you did in the past. Remember, I was telling you how you had planted these little seeds, this little trail, these little breadcrumbs, whatever. You did that. Um, and so that's why you can rest now, is because you have already put in that work. You've already figured out where you want these cups to go. You've already figured out what you want to take from the cups from the past. And so now you're figuring out how to get your happiness in the present based on what happened, what the outcome was in the past. What is this Three of Wands energy, please? We have the Eight of Cups. So I feel like you might be tempted to walk away right now because you're not seeing it, because you're suspended in time with this hanged man energy. Um, you've put in the work, but because you're not seeing the outcome, you're kind of like, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't working out. And that's kind of like an illusion right now. I feel like that's kind of like, the moon energy, kind of that illusion of like, just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's not in the works. It's not in progress. I do see it in progress. What is this Knight of Pentacles energy for everyone? Six of Cups. So yeah, you're waiting. Why are you waiting? Because remember we talked about the Six of Cups. You had already put these little pieces of yourself, you put little reminders for yourself in your past, and now you have to reach back and grab those and use those to get you through this, and specifically to get you through this maybe more stagnant feeling era where it feels like it's a little bit too slow. It's not that it's not coming in, it totally is, but the Knight of Wands wasn't the right path. The Knight of Wands wasn't the right path for you. It's the Knight of Pentacles that's going to be the successful path right now. And that is, because it's grounded. Pentacles are grounded, they're stable. The Knight of Wands, he's not really that grounded or stable. He's pretty flighty. What is this King of Wands energy for everybody? Please, King of Wands energy for everybody. We have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, the King of Wands is clear in his thoughts. Why? Because he knows how to harness his energy. He knows how to take hold of his energy. He knows that he's empowered by his energy. He doesn't let the energy tell him what to do. He is the one who commands the energy, and that's why he has clear thoughts on this. And so, it's interesting that we have the Two of Swords with the Knight of Wands. That's going to be your stuck energy. The Knight of Wands is going to stick you in the mud, right? But the King of Wands is going to pull you out with the clarity. What is this Four of Swords for everybody, please? Four of Swords. We have the King of Swords. Yeah, the Four of Swords is telling us you're going to get your clarity and you're going to be embodying the King of Swords energy. The King of Swords knows how to use his thoughts, knows how to use his communication. The reason why this is hard right now is because we are in Mercury retrograde for one thing. There's a full moon in Virgo that's a lunar eclipse for another thing. So there's a lot of illusions. There's illusions floating around in our thoughts. There's illusions floating around in our communications. We're having miscommunications. So that's why we need to take this time to rest so that we can get clear on that communication. You can still harness your energy even when the energy seems like it's non-conducive. You can still, it's not that you can't, communicate or you can't think or you can't talk. It's that you have some obstacles, right? But you can overcome those. What is this Hanged Man energy here? The High Priestess. So we have Pisces and Pisces, which tells me that this is like a very kind of like deep contemplation that this hanged man is in. It's somewhere where you have to rely on your inner wisdom, your intuition to tell you where to go. It's relying on the fact that you know the facts, you put the work in, you found the cups behind you, and now you're moving on. But you're not moving on in a forceful way like the Knight of Wands energy. You're moving on in a way where you are respectful of the overall energy. So it's using your intuition, using that moon light to guide you. It's using the um the stagnancy, or the feeling like you're in between two different worlds, which you kind of are, um, to kind of propel you here. What is this Two of Pentacles energy for everybody? You have the Three of Cups. Yeah, so balancing yourself out, waiting, being patient in that energy, allowing things to happen naturally is going to end in a very happy, abundant time for you. Let's check out this Lovers. What is this Lovers energy? The Tower and the Ace of Wands. That is interesting. Yeah, Tower, Ace of Wands. So here's the deal, guys. The Lovers, that heart-centered, that emotional situation that you are to, take back your energy with and propel yourself forward. If you don't do it, universe is doing it. They're coming in, they're shaking it up. They are going to give you, I mean, you're still going to get the same results, but it might be a little more, it could be a little more traumatic or a little more, disconcerting. Um, it's happening either way. So you could tie yourself up in knots with your thoughts, but the universe is like, I don't really care. This is happening. This is your trajectory. This is your path. And I'm here to support you on that path. And so whatever it is that you're trying to avoid, that you're trying to use your thoughts as a cover for your emotions, uh-uh, not gonna work. Because you still see the passion here. See, when we release this Knight of Wands energy, this go, 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 we're still getting what we want. We're still getting this passionate new beginning. We're still getting this spark of inspiration. Um, but we're going to have to go through something a little bit here, and it could be a little bit heartbreaking. With that, we have the King of Pentacles on the back of the deck. So that tells me that, like, you feel like you're going to lose your stability. You're feeling lack in stability with this Three of Swords. You feel like if you listen to your emotions and you stay the course and you have patience, that ultimately this is going to end up in pain and anger, rage, heartbreak, all that stuff. And they're saying, no, it's not. You are super stable. You are so stable. And I want to point out too, let's see, we have two knights, and then do we have three kings? Yeah, we have three kings. So there could be friends here that are supportive of you. I feel like there could be multiple people in this situation who are, helping you guide through, or they're part of the journey. Um, I mean, you know your situation better than I do, so, use your discernment there. But I feel like ultimately this ends in clarity, it ends in passion and inspiration, it ends in stability. I think you just need to get out of your head. I think that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. So that was interesting. It's a pretty big energy with the all the things that are happening right now. And so it's a lot to probably process and handle. I think the main thing is just making sure that you're getting your basic needs met and getting that rest. Let's take the chakra cards and see if there's anything else that comes out. See if there's anything that specifically needs to be said about possible chakra blockages, or where you could, you know, where you could project your energy, put your energy, put, um, what am I trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Anything else for the collective for this full moon lunar eclipse? What else do we need to know? Acceptance. This is your root chakra. So accepting that you are stable, that like just because you have to do something scary, you have to get out of your comfort zone and be vulnerable, it doesn't mean that you're losing control. It doesn't mean that you are crazy or going the wrong direction. So there's a level of, even say, like radical acceptance here, where there's something here that you need to realize is just, that's how it is, and not let the ghosts of your past, um, make this into something it's not. Let's see if there's anything else. We have grief. Yeah, this, whoever's resonating with this, you don't like the emotional space. You'd prefer to be in your thoughts, stay in the swords energy rather than the cups energy. But this is like you have to get out of your comfort zone. This is what it is. This is heart chakra. And why are you grieving? Not because there's anything to grieve, really. It's because you are afraid. You are having fear to this vulnerability. What else do we have? Discovery. Yeah, remember when I started out saying this is you ultimately going on a journey with yourself? And it's interesting. We have root chakra, heart chakra, root chakra. So that's telling me that like you are afraid that if you let your heart go, if you let your heart want the things that it wants, or you make an emotional decision, you are going to lose your stability. And you feel like that's going to be the end of the world. And we saw the tower. It could very well be the end of the world as you know it, but it's not going to harm you. And then we have service on the back, which is sacral chakra. So this is about the basic needs to yourself and basic needs to others, and pay attention to what those basic needs. That's how you're going to accept this, that's how you're going to discover yourself. That's how you're going to get out of your 5 of Cups energy in your heart space. So I hope that was helpful. I know that was a lot. I hope it resonated. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great full lunar eclipse Virgo.